Hi, this is Russ with Devoted Golfer TV. We are here at the end of the 2019 PGA Merchandise Show. You ready to go home?
We're in the 11th hour, that's for sure.
Yeah. So I'm here with Jason Rutkowski, and we're in the Miura booth, and I have been a Miura dealer since the day I started doing club fittings. I would say a couple years ago in transition, things got a little muddy in the product line and maybe in the distribution as well. But you come from the business, right?
Yes.
Some history with some of the big brands?
Yeah, I've been involved in the OEM world for quite some time now. So I spent some time with Callaway Golf, more specifically with their fitting side of the business, and then I also worked with part of their mobile van program.
Mm-hmm.
So been out in front of the consumers, been talking about golf clubs, been talking about product for a while now.
And been doing some fitting.
Yes, absolutely. Love interacting with customers. That's one of the funnest things in the world, you know. People search these days now for instant gratification, and to be able to change someone by changing something in the fitting aspect or the right head, it's pretty unique to show them that change.
Yeah. My thought about fitting is that fitting is one of those things where you leave with a tangible, right? You leave with a new set of clubs. It's tangible. You go take a lesson, it's an intangible, right?
Very true.
Yeah. So club sales, somebody comes in for something, they want new clubs, they want some improvement in their game. This is a tangible they can walk away with.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you know what you're doing, you can be pretty successful at it.
Well, I'd say if you know what you're doing, you're kind of dangerous, actually.
That's exactly right. It makes it a lot more enjoyable, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It makes the sale much less difficult.
Yeah. So we've got some new things in the restructured Miura world, and you're part of that restructuring. You came from TrueSpec?
Absolutely. Yes. So about a little over 2 years now. So
explain for our viewers the relationship between TrueSpec and Miura.
In simplicity, it's just a single owner that owns multiple golf brands. TrueSpec, Miura, Golf.com, GolfLogix. Those just happen to all fall under the umbrella that's owned and operated by 8am Golf.
Okay. And so you're bringing a little bit of refinement to the product line?
Yeah, we looked at it as an opportunity. Certainly the thing that hasn't changed is the forging process, the Miura family, their involvements. We spend multiple trips a year visiting them and working on that relationship, and we just wanted to have kind of a clean path forward.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a bag of new product here in front of me. This I've never seen before, CB301.
So CB301 is new for us for this 2019 PGA show. Super excited about the opportunity to bring to market a little bit longer, a little bit wider, a little bit more forgiving, tour-inspired look, handmade forged Japanese golf club.
Right. What's unique here? What's different from things we've seen in the past?
Traditionally with us, we've had a little bit smaller footprint with regards to our golf clubs themselves. And what we do and what we're trying to do is attract more golfers, and we know to do that we probably need to make things a little bit more forgiving. So this is a single piece cavity back design, but if you notice, there's some distinct characteristics in terms of the way that the sole is shaped.
Go ahead and show them
more specifically, you're trying to make this area in the back a little bit wider. You're trying to make the sole a little bit deeper, trying to lower center of gravity. You want to do some things to the leading edge to get the
I see it now.
club face underneath the golf ball and to penetrate through the turf, but at the same point in time, the bounce that's not going to allow it to dig. So,
am I seeing like a little takeoff of the C grind here?
We call it a little bit more a Y grind is how we label it internally for Yoshitaka Miura. That's Mr. Miura's son.
Right.
He's the lead grinder and master craftsman in the Miura factory. So that's a take on him, and you'll see it in pretty relevant in all of our product lines.
Yeah, this leading edge relief.
Absolutely. It's just subtle. And what it does is just changes the way that the club interacts with the turf.
Right.
So that's a lot of what you see from us. It's not so much the magic and the flash with regards to more distance, but subtle improvements to how the club interacts with the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As Mr. Miura always said, turf interaction.
It's amazing. It really is, and you'll see it more noticeable in our wedges for this upcoming season, but that particular design element you also see through our entire iron collection.
I've never seen this personally, but I have heard that he's down on the ground listening to turf interactions during some fittings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He'll sit from caddy view as well as down the line and watch the grass fly, watch and listen.
Yeah, yeah. What's a fitting with Mr. Miura himself cost these days?
I have no idea.
I heard it was a big number many years ago, yeah.
But if ever given the choice or the opportunity, I would be more than happy to let him analyze my swing.
Yeah. Okay, so what else have we got here?
To kind of follow up or segue with the 301, MC501 was a muscle cavity, so a combination, what we're claiming between a blade and a cavity back. You'll notice it has a distinct design look to the back of it. You can see that iconic Y grind in this particular model too if you look at it from the face on. Again, trying to do some things to continue to, have more efficient interaction with the turf, but also some forgiveness. This, for us, was one of the widest, longest blades that we've ever made with regards to the sole and the sole shape.
You know, what I've noticed here as we move from iron to iron is the shape in here changes.
Sure.
And that's, that goes back many designs in the Miura family. Yeah. So explain what we're doing back here by changing the shape from head to head.
Well, it forms form and function. It has a cool, iconic design. It jumps out at you in the golf bag. But from a standpoint of as the club gets longer, you want to lower the center of gravity and move it more towards the heel and the toe, move it further back away from the face so that the club's play is more forgiving. And that's not as necessary as you start to transition through the set. So as you get closer to the wedge is going to be more flush to the face, because what you're ultimately looking for is a golf club that's going to have a peak apex regardless of the number that you're swinging.
Okay. And so as we get into the longer irons, this gets narrower and it gets a little bit lower. As we get into the shorter irons, it gets a little wider and a little taller, right?
That's exactly right.
And that's pretty much how we're creating a lower center of gravity as we get longer in the set.
Yeah, fancy way you could say you're trying to optimize CG for each particular model.
Explain this one.
This one's a unique design. We know to kind of cast the widest net, sometimes there's some limitations with single piece forgings. So this particular model allows us to do a little bit more with multi-materials. So it's a forged body, carpenter steel face. You see the weight in the back has function to help place CG. It's a hollow cavity design. That's going to help increase perimeter weighting and make it easy to hit for high launching straight shots.
Yeah. So if I want something that's going to enhance ball speed,
sure,
this is where I'm going, but it still has that iconic Miura quality.
Yeah, this was a passion project for Mr. Miura to kind of do something to attract more golfers that maybe isn't done directly in the factory.
Yeah. Cool.
So it's been a great project. It's done very well for us. If you kind of think of our three models, 301 sits right in the middle of the spectrum. 501 is going to have a little less offset, be a little bit less forgiving. 601 the other way around. It's going to have a little bit more offset, a little bit more forgiveness, and a touch higher launch angle.
Yeah. As we're going through these, I'm thinking about those 201s that were in my bag for 4 or 5 years.
Definitely making some improvements on some of the legacy models, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We want a clean, concise line. There is an 001 or a straight blade that we do still offer. So with those 4 models, you're really going to cover most of the demographics of golfer.
Yeah. So Miura wedges.
Miura wedges, absolutely. You can't have a full product line if you don't have wedge options. So new for 2018 was a tour wedge. So what we did was kind of upgraded the grind options to it. It's going to have a specific, kind of a noticeable channel here to the back. And what this does, as you're looking at this, is this particular slope is going to change based on loft options. So this goes 48 through 60, 2-degree increments. And then each specific model is going to be designed with a particular grind. So for instance, 48, 50, 52 is more of your fuller swing, gap wedge type designs, so a little bit lower center of gravity, more spread out. And that CG is going to change slightly as you get into the sand wedges. Those have more of a C grind. And then in the lob wedge, which you're seeing here, again, it's going to have the highest center of gravity of all the options, with a little bit flatter sole, again, just kind of taking that subtlety off the heel.
Yeah, yeah. And what have you done to the face?
So a little bit different design for us from the past. Everything used to be stamped.
Right.
Now we know that while that works on full shots, we're trying to do some things to help out on intermediate shots, half shots around the greens, things with less speed. So what we've done is we've actually milled the face flat and then milled the grooves on the golf club.
Great.
So that's a design.
I mean, that's a new story for me. I haven't paid attention to the wedges for a few years. So we've gone from stamped to milled.
Yes.
So we're pushing the limits that the USGA allows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're trying to do as much as we can to help out. Kind of keep that debris off the club face so that the club reacts and spins the way that you want.
So there's a couple wedge models now. What else have we got?
And so
this is the tour wedge.
This is the tour wedge.
Yeah.
We did a line extension for this show, which you're going to see. We can kind of let these sit side by side so you can kind of see for your audience how that'll play on a rack. But what you'll notice here with this particular model is a HB, and we're just designating that as a high bounce or a higher bounce option.
Yeah,
so that if you're in your shop and you pull a club out for a fitting, that it really helps, okay, I can identify which one is which, but more specifically, you're really seeing, a little bit fuller sole than what you have with our tour wedge, a shallower heel, a little bit wider toe. We're trying to do some things to modernize the grind shape with introducing a little bit more camber. And what camber is basically you take an effective bounce and kind of think of it as the roof on your house.
Right.
What we want in a sole design is that everything kind of flows in all directions from that. So that's what you're seeing introduced in this HB.
Yep. I like camber. I like to minimize turf interaction by having a little roll in here.
Sure.
Yeah.
It gives you plenty of opportunity, as you know, and it also matches angle of attack. Somebody who's more of a picker may gravitate more towards the tour wedge. Somebody who's a little bit more of a digger driver, they are going to appreciate a little bit fuller sole, a little bit more trail bounce.
Yeah.
So that's really what you see there.
Okay, and then this is an iconic
I mean, how do you
design.
not just jump out at that one, right?
This has been in my bag. I mean, it's not in my bag at the moment, but it's been in my bag for a long time.
I think it's been in a lot of golf bags.
Yeah.
And that kind of came out as, what is it, right? That's kind of the first thing that jumps out. It's noticeable in the bag, but it also, again, serves distinct form and function.
Right.
So it's meant with these particular ridges, flutes we like to call them. We also like to call them knuckles. Think about knuckles on your hand.
Yeah.
K-grind.
K-grind, knuckle
K-grind,
grind.
knuckles, right?
Yeah.
But it's meant to keep the club face square through impact. So as the club, and we talked multiple times now with our products with regards to turf interaction, now's a wedge, right?
Right.
So any multitude of lie, half shots, different types of angles of attack, different types of club paths. What we're trying to do with this is have multiple versatilities. So that's what kind of came from this project. So it's really good to see the improvement of 2.0 versus the original model. We wanted to call it the same thing. 2.0 just felt right, If you look at it, it's a little bit wider, if you can remember from the one that you currently play. So this particular distance here has been increased.
Okay.
We thinned the heel out. The toe is much, much wider. There's a lot more C grind with regards to the difference between the toe and the heel. And then we've also added that camber so that although this may say 16, at the peak of the house, it's going to have different, bounce angles regardless of where the club impacts the turf.
And once again, milled face.
Milled face, that's right.
Yeah.
So then the one thing we also try to do is increase loft options. So 52 through 60 in the K. High bounce is going to come 50 through 62. So multiple options there. And then tour wedge, as we talked about, 48 through 60. So really when you look at our products, we got 4 irons, we have 3 wedges. I mean, we can fit pretty much anybody and everybody that's out there.
Okay. Jason, thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you for your time, and thank you for a successful PGA show.